Sports Professor Rick Horrow, Beyond the Scoreboard, the serious show that doesn't take itself too seriously. An interesting week. We have the Cubs clinching the NL Central Division. We have the Ryder Cup coming up in golf. We'll spend a lot of time on that in this show. The NASCAR Chase Sprint Cup beginning the playoff rounds. Baseball's heading into the playoffs, as we said, with the Cubs. Major League Baseball, great, but football from week 2 to week 3, and all of the budgets are hitting, including the Forbes valuation study for the NFL. Really, really important. It's also a time of protest, subtle and not so subtle. Just the other month, the Hornets lost the right to host the NBA All-Star Game in the wake of House Bill 2's statement. Now, NCAA has pulled 7 championships scheduled for the state of North Carolina during the academic year. In honor of Martin Luther King Jr., the Memphis Grizzlies released a new alternative uniform, a somber black, both understated and respectful, according to the Memphis Commercial Appeal. The typeface of the word Memphis derives from the historic sign at the Lorraine Motel where King was killed. The sea foam color that accents the uniform, same color as the doors of rooms 306 and 307. Grizzlies guard Vince Carter said, "We consider this MLK day our game, regardless of what day it's played on. We believe this is our game and our legacy." And then, who could forget the attention Colin Kaepernick has generated? His decision not to stand during the national anthem preseason game and spilled over into the regular season game, and obviously a number of people have taken up the cause as well. Kaepernick's jersey sales, $300,000 to $400,000, and most important, he started a national dialogue on the subject. And the bottom line is this will not stop. From President Obama on down, right, wrong, it certainly has generated some interest all over sports. Speaking of interest all over sports, an interesting show today, Ryder Cup related. Jonathan Halpern, Tour PGA, deal with golf expansion. Joe Bedditz of the National Golf Foundation. The Ryder Cup coming up. FedEx Cup now. Talking about the business of golf, past, present, and future. Sports Professor Rick Horrow, Beyond the Scoreboard. See you in a couple of minutes.
Complain about your cable bill going up and up and up. Do something about it. Grab a pencil and jot down this special number.
Call 877-499-MY-TV.
The more cable TV rates go up, the better digital satellite TV looks. So cancel the cable and get more of your favorite channels in 100% digital quality for less money.
Call 877-499-MY-TV.
Right now to sign up for packages starting as low as $24.99, and there's no equipment to buy. You get free HD TV upgrade, a free DVR upgrade, and free professional installation. You control what you watch when you watch it. Record your favorite shows, pause and rewind live TV, even skip the commercials. Watch local channels too. At just $24.99, what are you waiting for? Pull out your major credit or debit card.
Call 877-499-MY-TV. That's 877-499-MY-TV.
Cancel the cable, cut costs, and get more.
Call now, 877-499-MY-TV. That's 877-499-MY-TV.
Rebuild or replace transmission, $3,200. Anti-lock brake system, $1,000. Rebuild or replace engine, $2,400. Truth is, once your manufacturer's warranty runs out, it's all on you. Every last cent. Get protection for covered repairs with a vehicle service contract from Toco Warranty. Unlike other companies, with Toco, there's no down payment, and the monthly payments are really affordable. Not sure how long you're keeping your car? At Toco, you can pay as you go. Keep your hard-earned cash and call Toco Warranty right now at 800-222-2313 to save big money on covered auto repairs. Prices vary by vehicle, but for about the cost of a tank of gas per month, a Toco plan has your back on expensive covered car repairs. Monthly payments are very affordable. Get your free quote now. Call Toco at 800-222-2313. That's 800-222-2313. 800-222-2313. Cancellation fee may apply, subject to eligibility. Not available in Missouri and Washington. Waiting period and deductible apply. Coverage provided and administered by Warrantech Corporation or its affiliates. Not affiliated with any manufacturer or dealership. Visit TocoWarranty.com for complete terms and conditions.
Sometimes what you want most from your car is nothing. No headaches, no surprises, no anxiety when it's late at night and you're on some distant freeway in a thunderstorm. Owning a certified pre-owned Mercedes-Benz can be that anxiety-free experience on every level. You know you're in one of the safest and most thoughtfully engineered vehicles on the road. And with an unlimited mileage warranty, you can drive as far as you want for up to 3 years, with roadside assistance included. Your sense of confidence and adventure are as unlimited as the warranty itself. Now you can drive the car of your dreams and realize that nothing is everything. And during the certified pre-owned sales event, now through August 31st, you can receive 2 years of complimentary prepaid maintenance and 0.99% APR financing on select models, available through Mercedes-Benz Financial Services. You've waited long enough.
See your authorized Mercedes-Benz dealer for complete details and limitations on certified pre-owned warranties. APR offer available only to qualified customers. Call 1-800-FOR-Mercedes for details about costs and terms.
Sports professor Rick Horrow, Beyond the Scoreboard, the serious show that doesn't take itself too seriously, but we've got a number of major issues these few weeks. The FedEx Cup ends in Atlanta, East Lake, over the next couple of weeks. Then the scene shifts to Hazeltine and the Ryder Cup, and we have a lot of different golf issues: consumer, retail, economics, tigerization of the tour is no more, international golf. Nobody better than Joe Betitz joined the National Golf Foundation in 1984 and served as the organization's president and CEO since '89. He served on the NGF board of directors alongside some of the most influential golf and business leaders of our time. He's an author, publisher, graduated University of North Dakota, holds a PhD from Florida State, the economic and research arm of the Tour and of Golf, the National Golf Foundation, Joe Betitz.
And this is golf month. It's not really golf month for people that don't understand the business because it's football and otherwise, but I will tell you that for those of us who are serious golfers, who've had the 4 majors, who've had the first Olympics in 900 years, and now we're ready for the dose of the wind down, but after Ryder Cup and after FedEx Cup, you can never get enough wind down. And frankly, the guy that's in charge of, in many ways, making sure the business is on track with its numbers, along with PGA of America and others, is Joe Betitz. He joined the National Golf Foundation in 1984 and has served as the organization's president and chief executive since 1989. So he certainly knows the business, and a neighbor in Hope Sound. I'm just down the road in Jupiter. So we have a personal stake collectively in making sure the golf business survives and thrives, because for the next 60 years for me, that's what I'm doing, is playing. How are you doing, Joe?
I'm doing fantastic this afternoon.
Good. Wonderful. Well, so independent of what we talked about on the air or off the air about you going to play golf in St. Andrews for the next 14, 15, 16 days, I still like you very much, and I do think it's really important to steward the NGF to the next level. So tell us a little bit about the organization and what you do.
Well, Rick, like you, one of our jobs is keeping score. And so since 1936, actually, 80-year birthday this year, our anniversary, making us one of the oldest associations in golf. Yet we are mostly known amongst the businesses in golf as opposed to the golf consumers, although golf consumers probably notice a little NGF, or a National Golf Foundation, on the bottom, giving attribution to the NGF for a lot of the numbers that they might see in the various business magazines or golf magazines. Anyway, we track golf's important vital signs: the number of golfers, golf courses, rounds played, golf equipment expenditures, things like that. And
for our business audience, give us some of those numbers.
Well, we've got 24 million golfers right now in the United States playing golf on just under 15,000 golf courses. So there's a lot of golf being played, and probably 450, give or take, million rounds of golf in the U.S. alone. So it's a pretty big business.
And it's a big business, but the important thing is to understand if it's going in the right track. I know that the Orlando Sentinel had an article talking about 1,400 golf courses in Florida closing since the year 2000. It seems like a lot. But you hear a lot more about golf courses closing than opening, and I also hear that golf is rebounding and doing pretty well. So what's your overall assessment?
Well, we saw the article in the Orlando Sentinel and ourselves, and obviously there was a typo there, because there's only 1,000 golf courses in Florida.
A few, a few zeros between friends doesn't matter. So the number's 140?
Yeah, well, no, I don't know what the number would be, but in fact, it's not 140. In fact, if they was just 1 decimal point off, it would still be pretty wrong. You'd have to go 2 decimal places because we keep very good records of the number of golf courses in the United States, and we may get to talk about also we keep to track worldwide. So we have a database of every golf course on the planet that we maintain. And our records, I went back and checked, and in 2000, Florida had just 1,020 golf facilities. And right now we've got 1,004. So that's about 16 facilities net drop over a 16-year period. That would put our net odds about 1 in 1,000 of losing a golf course. Actually, it's more than that because some closed and some opened, but in actual fact, we're right about at the same level we were near 2000.
Well, so, independent of bad reporting, which is clearly the case here, or maybe just an honest mistake that looks like bad reporting, are we feeling good about the golf industry and golf courses overall from an economic perspective? Is it good to own a golf course these days, public or private?
Well, Rick, it really depends on where that golf course is and what segment of the golfers, what kind of golfers it's trying to serve. There is absolutely no doubt that it's a very competitive business. The reason for that is that in the 1990s, from the beginning of the 90s through the early 2000s, we built over 4,000 new golf courses, 4,400 in fact. And there wasn't the corresponding increase in demand. So we were way oversupplied. Since we've begun closing more than opening, we've only corrected about 5 or 6%. In other words, we've gone down. So we added 40% to supply, and we've lost about 6% since our peak. That means we're still oversupplied. In our opinion, we think we still probably have maybe too many golf courses in some places, making it very difficult for those operators.
And I guess the issue is everything is real estate. But as effectively the research arm of the golf industry, what would you tell an entrepreneur who is a golfer who wants to get into the golf business today, either golf course real estate, redesign, public, private? What advice would you give him generally?
Well, I would say do your homework first. Go in with your eyes wide open. All golf is local. Like Tip O'Neill once said, all politics is local.
Sure.
Well, all golf is local. And so if you find the right golf course in the right market, there can be opportunity, especially if you've been there and run that golf course, like the business that it is, and, excelling in customer service and the condition of the golf course, et cetera. It's not for the faint of heart. You can't go into it just loving it. The old joke is how to become a millionaire in golf. Well, it's by starting with a few million and buying a golf course.
Right.
And so you have to be careful and know what you're doing, to make a go of it.
Well, and I guess the other issue as a golf course entrepreneur, golf developer, equipment is the blessing or the curse. I remember some of the old days where Jack Nicklaus designed a course in the Caymans that fit a ball that he also designed, and there were some courses that still use that. But do we need 180 acres? Do we need a lot more today? What do we do with the business of golf in the era of astronomical equipment, but less real estate than before?
Well, I think that golf courses, we are seeing a lot of redesign work. If this is on your, hopefully on point with your question.
Sure, of course.
We're seeing redesign work that is tending to soften some of these golf courses. It was de rigueur for quite a while to see who could build the toughest golf course. I remember once seeing a billboard not too far from here, Rick, where we live, and I won't mention any names, but it was a famous architect on the front of the billboard, and the saying was exceptional homes on a nasty golf course.
I'm wondering which way that cuts these days, I mean, and I completely understand what you're saying, and leading to that, Jack Nicklaus, who is our neighbor, and others are now unexpectedly pioneering the make golf more appropriate for the masses. Who'd have thought he would have ever been a supporter of the 15-inch wide golf hole and the tee it forward? and all of that, the 9-hole golf. I assume, as someone who is in essence a custodian of the game, as you have been since 1984, you are in favor of all of those marketing and business techniques that bring more people into the game in any context, right?
Absolutely. Golf is a game to be enjoyed for a lifetime. It's a fantastic game. It's been played for centuries, and it's going to continue to be played for centuries. So we want as many people to enjoy golf and experience, the euphoria of hitting a great shot as is possible. And
Sports Professor Beyond the Scoreboard. Be back in a couple of minutes.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for prescription drugs? Well, we have great news. Now you can finally get prescription drugs at huge discounts from Canada Drug Center. That's right, the most popular drugs for cholesterol, high blood pressure, depression, diabetes, arthritis, and many more are now up to 75% off. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices when you can get brand name drugs at the lowest price? Call today and get up to 75% off all the popular brand name prescription drugs. Never pay high prices again. Get the most popular drugs at huge savings from our Canadian and international pharmacies and fulfillment centers. No insurance? No problem. Prices are so low you do not need benefits or insurance to get all your prescriptions fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting to take your call now. Order today and get free shipping. Just call 800-950-1180. Up to 75% off all the popular brand name prescription drugs and free shipping. Call 800-950-1180. That's 800-950-1180.
$100 million in jury verdicts and settlements for serious injury victims, medical malpractice victims, and surviving family members of wrongful death victims. Trial Lawyers for Justice. This is a firm that does not handle frivolous lawsuits. They go after insurance company money, and they're darn good at it. They don't sell their clients out or settle cheaply. Trial Lawyers for Justice, the firm that goes the distance for you, their client. They treat their clients the way you would want your own family members taken care of. Nicholas Rowley, Dominic Pachota, and the other trial lawyers in the firm at Trial Lawyers for Justice, dedicated to representing the people and their families in Iowa, Minnesota, South Dakota, Wisconsin, Illinois, California, Wyoming, and many other states. Trial Lawyers for Justice. $100 million in settlements and jury verdicts already in 2016. 888-811-0844. TL4J.com. Trial Lawyers for Justice.
Tired of calls, levies, and liens from the IRS or hiring others who don't get the job done? Call Wall & Associates and you'll never talk to the IRS again. The IRS has a program to eliminate tax debt, and Wall & Associates professionals are trained to maximize its benefits for you. You always speak with a live person with real support and real knowledge. We've helped thousands of taxpayers like you settle their tax debt with the IRS for a fraction of what they owe. We solve tax problems. Call Wall & Associates now, 800-480-5708. We have the professionals who know how to solve tax problems. If you owe money to the IRS, your tax problems are not going away by themselves, and the passage of time will only make matters worse. Act now, before it's too late. Call Wall & Associates right now to speak to a professional tax relief agent. Call 800-480-5708. That's 800-480-5708. Again, 800-480-5708.
I'm the sports professor Rick Horrow with Beyond the Scoreboard. International sports development continues to proliferate. The record transfer fees with the EPL and others. Clearly, the economics are across the pond as well. And Globecast, the global solutions provider for media, and Eutelsat Communications signed a framework agreement equipping the two companies to renew and increase transponder use across the Hotbird broadcast satellites. North Africa and the Middle East both implicated. Strong and complementary partnerships, bedrock of the objectives, and the Hotbird video neighborhood delighted to cement the relationship with Globecast, says Eutelsat Senior VP and Sales and Deputy Chief Commercial Officers. They say that they look forward to propelling growth through technology-efficient and cost-effective strategies as they accelerate to HD and Anchor Ultra HD on their roadmap. The bottom line is more interlocking partnerships. The better the technology, the better for the consumer. NFL season underway, and 49ers quarterback Colin Kaepernick donates any extra financial earnings he receives from jersey sales toward organizations support his push to end racial equality in this country. In the wake of his decision to kneel during the national anthem, top-selling jersey expected to earn about $300,000 to $500,000. His jersey surged in popularity over the past few weeks. Jersey sales jumped because of people's belief there can be change, and we can make this country better. And they believe that I was someone that could help that change, he said. And as for me, support is something I have to give back to the communities for that cause. Many fellow NFL players noted their support of Kaepernick, publicly joined his protest. Chiefs, Seahawks, and others joined arms during the anthem on Sunday. The number to watch, $300,000 to $500,000. The NBA's new 3-year trial period of allowing teams to sign sponsors for jersey patches may expand outside the U.S., according to the Minneapolis-St. Paul Business Journal. Timberwolves CEO Ethan Casson said he had some exploratory meetings with Chinese companies during a trip to China last month to talk about a relationship and to really begin the dialogue around the jersey patch. Kesson traveled overseas with a minority partner who is Chinese, who, along with New Jersey-based real estate firm Orbach Group chairman Meyer Orbach, brought into the team in late June. The names of specific companies Kesson met with were not disclosed, as they were more introductory than anything. Nevertheless, Kesson and others both note that it was a great opportunity to just be in front of them face-to-face and see what a partnership could look like. The Los Angeles Lakers sign on UCLA Health as the team's official naming rights partner for the new practice facility. It'll be completed next summer, be down the road from the team's current facility. Perks at the new building include a bigger practice area and weight room, 15-person cold tub, how about that, we won't go there, a movie theater, and fan-centric exhibition court, 750 seats. As part of the deal, UCLA Health serves as the team's in-game medical provider, and the company will have full medical staff from UCLA at the facility. The new complex, 3 times as large, put all basketball and business operations under one roof, offer players cutting-edge training facilities and amenities. The Lakers plan on having a team store at the facility for fans visiting the building, if the building and complex could only shoot and play defense. The return of the World Cup of Hockey, prompting discussions about whether NHL players will participate in the 2018 Korean Olympics. According to Sportsnet.ca, the NHL didn't formally agree to participate in the 2016 Turin Games until the preceding summer, and a similar scenario played out for the 14 Sochi Games. Negotiations between the NFL, IOC, and IIHF expected to begin later this fall about whether or not it's feasible to pull NHL players out mid-season to compete in the Olympics. LA Kings defenseman Drew Doughty said, "I'd love to go to represent my country, but at the same time, if it doesn't happen, I'm not going to be crushed over it." The World Cup of Hockey, orchestrated by the NHL and Players Association, has received criticism that the tournament is a cash grab, but the negative comments are expected to cease once the puck drops in Toronto. I'm the sports professor Rick Horrow with Beyond the Scoreboard. As top pros, including Rory McIlroy and others, attempt to get ready for the FedEx Championship, and Tiger Woods tries to figure out their next equipment moves as well, Parsons Extreme Golf, or PXG, is living up to its extreme name, or trying to. Under billionaire GoDaddy founder Dr. Bob Parsons, PXG made some of the best equipment ever to hit the golf market. The only drawback to the superior equipment is its superior cost, about $350 per iron. From day one, Parsons targeted golfers for whom price is no object, and his latest big idea presumably narrows that demographic to an even smaller sliver. The company is now offering a custom club fitting experience starting at $16,000 for a 3-day Scottsdale getaway, and can reach 6 times that for the ultimate PXG experience, including golf at Scottsdale National with Parsons himself and private air transportation in a Bombardier Challenger 350 from anywhere in the continental U.S. While McIlroy contends he'll stick with his closet full of Nike clubs for now, it's speculated that Woods may migrate to PXG. The number to watch, $99,000, the list price for the ultimate PXG experience. We have a lot of different golf issues, consumer, retail, economics, tigerization of the tour is no more, international golf. Nobody better than Joe Betitz joined the National Golf Foundation in 1984 and served as the organization's president and CEO since '89. He served on the NGF board of directors alongside some of the most influential golf and business leaders of our time. The economic and research arm of the tour and of golf, the National Golf Foundation, Joe Betitz.
We're seeing an adjustment in the market now, both in the redesign of some of these golf courses and the repricing. With the oversupply situation, it's a good time to be a golfer. Golf is essentially on sale.
Well, that's a good comment to make, except if you're part of the Nike hard goods industry, or if you're with Golfsmith, or you're with TaylorMade Adidas in some context. What do you make of the constriction in the golf equipment industry and the golf kind of selling to the general masses industry? Was it a case of oversupply, market adjustment? What's the cause?
Well, Rick, there was a bubble in golf participation. We grew like crazy in the 90s. And as the stock market soared, as housing values soared, golf grew, quite a bit, and the number of golf courses grew, et cetera. And so we experienced a real bubble in participation that actually, formed in, around the beginning of the early 2000s. At that time, we overbuilt golf courses. We overbuilt retail stores. We oversupplied. Manufacturers oversupplied those stores so that there was a glut. And we're still suffering, from the results of that. So now specifically with regard to, manufacturing, the amount of golf clubs being consumed is about the same today as it was 20 years ago in terms of the number of sets of irons or the number of drivers per 1,000 people, per 1,000 golfers. Your consumption is, about the same. Golfers have declined somewhat. We've lost less committed golfers who kind of joined in the euphoria of golf back then. But now, today, we have 24 million golfers, the vast majority who are very committed to continue playing the game. So we've got stability. The supply situation in manufacturers has reverted to what it was when I joined the industry 30 years ago. There were only a handful of manufacturers that time, supplying the golf business or supplying golfers. And that's kind of where we're, what we're back to today. The Nike has been fabulously successful in shoes and apparel, the things that they know the very most about. And, their decision to exit the industry, as Phil Knight said, it was an easy business decision. They weren't really number one in the categories of the ball or club categories. They were far down the pecking order, and so they I think wisely decided to go to their strengths and to focus their energies on what they do best. And with regard to retail, yes, there was a filing today. In fact, Golfsmith filed their Chapter 11 today. This is, again, it's a case of overexpansion. It's a case, more of, maybe, leases that aren't favorable, over-inventoried, et cetera. So we're just seeing an adjustment in the marketplace. It's painful to go through. It feels worse than it really is, so I can tell you that. Golf is very stable.
Well, on that note, for somebody who plays seemingly every other day and wanting to make sure that golf doesn't go by the way of the dinosaur, listening to Joe Betitz is very comforting and Very reassuring. We'll have Joe on a lot to monitor the growth of the industry from the business perspective. Rick Horrow will be back in a couple of minutes.
Joe Bennett's talking about the economics of golf. He seems to think we're in pretty good shape, and who can blame him? Golf clearly winding this season down on a high note. Next up, Forrest Professor Beyond the Scoreboard. Be back in a couple of minutes.
And now, today's General Steel building tip. Buy a large lot with a friend or family member that can be split into two smaller lots. Some of the most appealing properties may be much larger than what you want or can afford. Yet the seller may not be willing to break up a large parcel. So if you can share the costs with someone else, preferably someone you don't mind having as a neighbor, you may be able to pick up a great building site for a reasonable price. And now, a word from General Steel.
This is an alert. If your business or church is building this year, you're about to pay more than you should. This could mean thousands of dollars more for your office, retail space, church, or warehouse. A General Steel building can save you as much as half the cost and time of similar conventional construction. And we're offering rebates of up to $20,000 to help you build today. Call General Steel for free information that could save you thousands. Call 866-95-STEEL. 866-95-STEEL. That's 866-95-STEEL.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us. If you want Viagra at the lowest prices, never pay $15 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 a pill. Call 877-663-7126 today and save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 877-663-7126 to take your call now. Call 877-663-7126. That's 877-663-7126. Again, 877-663-7126.
Rebuild or replace transmission, $3,200. Anti-lock brake system, $1,000. Rebuild or replace engine, $2,400. Truth is, once your manufacturer's warranty runs out, it's all on you. Every last cent. Get protection for covered repairs with a vehicle service contract from Toco Warranty. Unlike other companies, with Toco, there's no down payment, and the monthly payments are really affordable. Not sure how long you're keeping your car? At Toco, you can pay as you go. Keep your hard-earned cash and call Toco Warranty right now at 800-222-2313 to save big money on covered auto repairs. Prices vary by vehicle, but for about the cost of a tank of gas per month, a Toco plan has your back on expensive covered car repairs. Monthly payments are very affordable. Get your free quote now. Call Toco at 800-222-2313. That's 800-222-2313. 800-222-2313. Cancellation fee may apply. Subject to eligibility. Not available in Missouri and Washington. Waiting period and deductible apply. Coverage provided and administered by Warrantech Corporation or its affiliates. Not affiliated with any manufacturer or dealership. Visit TocoWarranty.com for complete terms and conditions.
Sports Professor Rick Horrow, Beyond the Scoreboard. Serious show, doesn't take itself too seriously. The whole business of golf. Another aspect of it, a company, Tour PGA, bottom line is an interesting company that has a significant amount of you can play with the big boys kind of appeal. The CEO, founder, Jonathan Halpern, he's spent much of his past 12 years getting successful business ventures off the ground, BA from Cornell and MBA from New York University, and he's also created a number of companies. New Tech Capital raised a lot of money in business generally, the business of golf specifically. Jonathan Halpern.
the business of golf always at the forefront. A little bit of a shakeup. Nike in, Nike out. They're in on the celebrity side with Jason Day. They're out on the hard goods side. But more important than all that is there is a real state of flux. Golf survives. It's stronger than ever. The demographics point to avid golfers. Many of us play. I play 180 rounds a year, though not well. And somebody who can give us a snapshot of all of that, CEO of Tour Golf, he'll explain who it is and what it is, John Halpern. John, how are you?
I'm doing great. How are you?
Well, the last round of the 180 rounds didn't go very well. But, you know, you pick a hard course and you use rental clubs. Everybody has his own excuse as to how to justify mediocrity, don't you think?
I think that's golf is a game of constant improvement, and if you can, and I think the most important thing, people really need to know that it's a game that can be enjoyed whether you're playing great or not playing so great.
Right, and it's a game that can be cause of great misery when you're playing great or not so great. But that's another topic for another day. We're on the business side today, Jonathan. First of all, CEO, COO. Past 12 years overseeing and guiding successful business ventures, JDH Capital, obviously raising money in the space. And one of the things that has been birthed by all of this is Tour Golf. So tell us a bit about it.
Yeah, Tour Golf was founded in 2004 under the simple guise that we thought there was an opportunity to provide a young, affluent professional the ability to stay in golf and play a variety of private golf courses that may not be accessible to them because they were not members of those golf courses.
And so the evolution and the business proposition to actually get more access for the game, and you and other companies that continue to do that make money, I'm sure, but the net result is you also promote the game very well.
Yeah, I think it was really a great match between the private golf industry and a changing and forever changing consumer. You know, what we quickly found out is that most of the people that were utilizing our program in its early stages were utilizing it for the purpose of some kind of client entertainment or some kind of corporate use or doing something to further their business life, which really led us to the programming that we're really exclusively providing today.
So tell us a little bit more about the exclusive programming. What does somebody get if they're involved with the company?
You know, we are uniquely positioned to provide access to over 500 private golf courses throughout the United States, and also some locations in Europe and also in Canada. And we have 3 core services. The access is really a member for the day, which was the original service that we provided. So members of Tour Golf are able to play as an unescorted foursome, which is very unique in the industry. They're able to leverage that same access, and we customize small group events, often, you know, around sales conferences or incentives for channel partners. And we do that largely for Fortune 500, 1,000 companies, as well as some regional sales and business development organizations.
And I will testify firsthand, though I've never met you, and this is not a setup, that that's something that if I had it in my quiver with all the travel that I do, I would be a rich man mentally. So you and I stay on the line. How's that?
We should do that afterwards for sure.
Yeah, we will. But more specifically, the golf business is now the most important thing for you from a metrics perspective. If the golf business isn't doing very well, the high end is not going to do well either. And bottom line is it's gone through a pretty significant state of flux. Where do you think the golf business generally is today?
Well, I think there's been, you know, on the one that's most poignant to us is the building and the amount of inventory that's available in the high-end market. So, you know, there has been a slight retraction, but I think golf has started to become a healthier business overall because there has been some fallout on the high end when in the early 90s there was a huge build out, and some of it attached to real estate that didn't make much sense for the industry.
And so do we think, and you know, the bottom line of overbuilding was pretty clear, but they always, the economists would tell you that it matched up, unfortunately, perfect storm-wise with the quote-unquote Great Recession. Now the world of stocks and financial management seems to be coming back, and the future of the golf industry generally pretty good?
Yeah, I think. Listen, it's a game that millions of people enjoy worldwide, not only from a viewing perspective, but really in our category, which is the participation perspective. And what we are seeing is that corporations, which is most of the business that we do, are really seeking out and looking for very unique experiences for their customers. And golf just happens to be one of the great categories that can deliver some outstanding client relationship building and business building activities that you can do with prospects and clients.
What do we think about, ironically, people like Jack Nicklaus and others who are now attempting, as they enter the twilight of their respective careers, to open golf up to the masses? You'd have thought he'd never been the author of or a supporter of the 15-inch hole and tees up in the middle of the fairway and 9 holes of golf, but everybody seems to be saying that's better than no golf at all, and it's another way to get people into the game. Are you of that school?
I'm very much of that school, and it doesn't exactly correlate with our business, but golf needs to be made easier. Golf needs to be made more accessible. Golf, in our day and age, time is probably everyone's most valuable commodity, and there's nothing wrong with spending 9 holes. We actually have programming that's specific to Wall Street guys about the attention span of I don't need to make that many parallels, but we get them out for 9 holes after work at 5 o'clock, and they're eating and drinking by 8 o'clock. It's a magnificent way to spend a couple of hours. No one needs to always play 18 holes. There's so many ways to enjoy the game of golf.
We must have just cut out. I think you said attention span of a gnat, but I didn't quite hear that.
No, I didn't quite go there. I may have said 5-year-old. I may have said 5.
Right. Very well put. But I think it's important for everybody to understand from a business show perspective like ours is that the idea of streamlining golf for the masses also has some corollaries at your end of the business. The example of the Wall Street golfer for 9 holes. I guess we're in the time business-wise where if cricket goes to a 2-hour quick match in India, then I guess golf can try to reform itself as well, right?
Yeah, I think there's a lot of work being done by the PGA of America, who happen to be our partners, and obviously the USGA, in really constructing, making it less intimidating. The idea of bigger holes and the idea of pace of play and the idea of play it forward all stem from making it more enjoyable and more accessible for many. And in the corporate world, as time is so challenged, we're competing for corporate dollar with a Nick game, which is a 2-hour event. Golf can be a 4 or 5 hour event layering in travel, and there's no reason why the most powerful, what I think, sports activity you can do with a client can be accomplished within 2.5 hours, and it can be 9 holes, it can be 12 holes. And I think some of the most valuable time to spend with golf is sometimes the hole after the round is finished. So
yeah, and thank God you equated this to a 2-hour Nick game, which under any circumstances you're going to compare favorably to. So that was very well put. What do we think, by the way, from your perspective, post-Olympics? Did the Olympics move the needle a bit on both the men's and women's side?
I think any exposure that the games have, and people who watch the Olympics are probably slightly different than the traditional 3 o'clock viewer on Sunday afternoon on our networks, watching the PGA Tour and or the PGA Championships and or the Ryder Cup coming up. So I think that exposure is great. I think what people get from seeing the TV broadcast are the beautiful venues. You're outside. It's an athletic competition more today than it's ever been, and those can only move the needle in a positive direction.
Well put. Couple minutes left. Let's talk about the pro side. Tiger claiming to be coming back at the Safeway in Napa. Tigerization of the tour was a big deal before, but are we of the school now that Tiger is not as important to the tour as he was, let's say, 10 years ago?
I think like everything else, when you live without somebody for a moment, you realize that there is some core value in what's going on. Now, let's never discount Tiger, because Tiger's brand appeal is very wide-reaching, and it does bring in other demographics that are not natural to the game of golf. And the game of golf needs to expand its core audience. So he will add value. I don't think it's as detrimental as maybe the industry was concerned about when he left.
Yeah, good point. And then I guess finally, what about the equipment piece of this? I know Nike pulling out of the golf business, the hard aspect of it, not the endorsement aspect of it. We have Golfsmith having some issues. We have Adidas closing down. Where is all of that going in your estimation?
I think like the country club side or the golf facility side, I think there's going to have to be a retraction. There's only so much innovation on an annual basis that these companies can do, and the innovation costs a lot of money, and the business has proven to be a little bit of a lower margin business over time, specifically the club business. And I think value is really added by PGA professionals when they can customize clubs, they can kind of work with individuals and kind of steer them into the right equipment as opposed to kind of just buying stuff off the rack. I think that's where there's kind of good margin and opportunity in the business to be made.
So net from Jonathan Halpern, who has some perspective on all of this, golf business doing pretty well, magic wand, waving it and changing anything you could, what would it be?
I think the business is, its core and its base are very solid. It is, there aren't that many activities in this country what people are so passionate about. I think fishing is another one where there's just an incredibly passionate group of followers. I think magic wand, I think the golf industry has to pay attention to things like ease of access, opening up their doors to different demographics, making it affordable and maybe more importantly time sensitive to play and enjoy. And I think we're going to have a great future in golf. And on our side, the corporate expenditure has been very healthy, and it's very healthy because golf is the sport of business. It's a very impactful vehicle, and we're excited to be a part of it.
Excited to have you in the business and look forward to hearing more from you and about the business as well. Jonathan Halpern, Chief Operating Officer, Chief Executive Officer, Tour Golf. Rick Horrow, speak with you in a couple of minutes.
Jonathan Halpern talking about the business of golf from his perspective and his company, Golf in Good Hands, not only on the tour and not only with equipment, but also with various companies and startups as well. Next up, Bust, Boom, and Hope. Sports professor Beyond the Scoreboard. Be back in a minute.
We all know healthcare has changed drastically. It's quite the puzzle to sort through your options and find a health insurance plan that's affordable and maximizes your benefits. And you're now required by law to have health insurance or you may pay a tax penalty. So let the Health Markets Insurance Agency help you. They offer plans from over 120 different companies and can even help you obtain government subsidies. Let them do all the research for you and show you how affordable health insurance can be, a service that's at no extra cost to you. Call now and learn your options to find affordable health insurance. 800-614-1242. 800-614-1242, 800-614-1242, 800-614-1242. Health Markets Insurance Agency is a DBA or assumed name of Insphere Insurance Solutions, Inc., which is a licensed insurance agency in all 50 states and D.C. Not all agents are licensed to sell all products. Service availability varies by state.
Attention, if you've had hip replacement surgery and suffered any complications, you need to listen to this important legal alert. Major manufacturers have made billions of dollars available to award legal claims for defective hip implants. Thousands of these defective hip implants have been recalled by various manufacturers. If you've had hip surgery and suffered complications, you may be entitled to receive significant compensation to help you deal with your complications. You may be eligible to receive money to help with medical expenses, lost wages, stitches and pain and suffering. Protect yourself by hiring an experienced trial attorney. Our partner law firms are experts in hip replacement surgery lawsuits. Find out now if you're eligible to receive any of the $2.5 billion hip settlement fund. Call now for free information. 800-296-1360. 800-296-1360. 800-296-1360. That's 800-296-1360.
Fanatics.com is the place to get your favorite licensed college football fan gear. It's also the place to win the hottest bowl tickets for the season. Pull out your phone and Shazam this ad now for your chance to win an all-inclusive bowl game experience for two. Plus $250 to deck yourself out in officially licensed gear from Fanatics. Inside, you'll also find Fanatics merchandise, apps, and more. If you want to be on the sidelines of the biggest bowl games, Shazam now. If you're a sports fan and you love your team, you gotta check out Fanatics.com. Fanatics is the best place for fan gear from the most trusted brands. Authentic fan gear from the NFL, MLB, NBA, NHL, and NCAA college football and basketball. Jerseys, hoodies, t-shirts, hats, collectibles, and more. It's the world's largest collection of official fan gear from all the leagues, teams, and players you love. Everything officially licensed. Go to Fanatics.com for gear and show love for your teams this season. Fanatics. Love never loses.
Sports professor Rick Horrow, beyond the scoreboard, bust, boom, and hope. The bad, the good, and the hopeful in the economy. Different strokes for different folks this week. First bust. Nike and the NFL debuted their Color Rush uniforms for a few teams last year. All 32 will wear their own Color Rush this year. The flashy uniforms worn for Thursday night games. 100% of the NFL's proceeds for the sale of Color Rush jerseys going to the NFL Foundation to fund youth health, safety, and welfare programs. The NFL, by the way, drew some backlash from colorblind fans last year because they couldn't distinguish between the two teams since they were both primarily colored jerseys, the Bills and the Jets. This year's game, in response to last year's Color Rush, they hired a number of color blindness consultants. Seemed to have worked out better, but not for the Bills. The bust only because of last year seems to be better this year. Then, boom, in the midst of the team's stellar season, the Cubs continuing their push to develop the area around Wrigley. Developers announced new Hotel Zachary, part of the Starwood Hotels family, built opposite Wrigley Field. The Ricketts family invested in bringing more distinctly neighborhood feel to the area as its name. The hotel's moniker meant to honor Wrigley Field architect Zachary Taylor Davis, all with the hope of drawing guests, not necessarily Cub fans. It opens in 2018, but it's connected to Wrigley Field. What do you think? And finally, hope. The world top-ranked golfer finally cashed in on his recent success. Golf Week says Jason Day's new deal with Nike makes him the highest-paid golfer in the game. Deal reportedly worth north of $100 million over the length of the agreement. Day's been outfitted by Adidas and TaylorMade for the past years. He actually played with Nike equipment and wore a shirt prior to the July 2006. The move by Nike to sign Day signifies the company's commitment to the game, but a different level via its apparel. Signing golf's number one player would mirror Nike's marketing tactics in other sports of signing the top players to endorse their apparel and footwear. The number to watch, $100 million. Concur. The bottom line is, bust, boom, and hope continues to always generate significant good, bad, and questionable in the economy. Well, thanks to Jonathan Halpern, thanks to Joe Bedditz, golf alive and well, as are other sports. We head toward a crescendo of playoffs and other things next week when we go Beyond the Scoreboard.